even now, I have a white male child, and however he turns out to be, I mean, he could be gay or trans or whatever he is. I make sure even now, and it's probably a little too early, but the consent thing, I want him to know that he needs to have consent for anything. Whoever his partner is, and it seems silly to say that, but toddlers can't regulate their emotions, and so he'll just impulsively hug or kiss or whatever, and it's beautiful because it's so innocent. But down the line, he needs to know that, like, nothing but yes means yes, and he needs to respect whomever he is with. Yeah, at all times.
Totally.
I think that sounds like silly, but I look at all these things and I think about situations that I've been in as a woman, and I'm like, I do not want my son to be that guy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You know, honestly, like, never mind early enough or young enough, but like if he's showing enough, honestly, if he's showing enough emotional understanding, you know, go for it. Go for it. There's never a wrong time to implement the empathy of others, you know, and understanding. There's never like
that.
Something as Jaylee loves dogs. Jaylee loves dogs. Like, we cannot go through a park without walking by a dog. And
I love that.
Something that she has gotten so good at is asking, you know, like, ask first, ask. You have to ask. You can't just go pet it. You can't just go hug it. You have to ask. You have to ask the grown-up, you know, where is its grown-up? You have to ask the grown-up, is it okay if I touch your dog?
Yeah.
And it starts as early as that. Is it okay? And if the owner says, "Ooh, dog is a little shy," that's the building. That's the building stone. That's the stepstones of, like, is it okay? Is it not okay? Okay. Are we gonna stand back here and wave hello, or are we gonna give it 2 pets and say goodbye? You know, or like, that's never too early.
I love that. I think that's a great thing. We have a dog, and he's amazing. Like, if everybody had a dog like our dog, the world would be like dog heaven. He's an amazing animal. But Jack, he doesn't bite. He doesn't do. He's 85 pounds of just love. He just loves everything he meets. But not every dog is like that. Like what you're saying, you don't know if that one dog had a bad experience with a toddler and is gonna bite your hand off, and that's not okay.
And not only that, like, you know, the dog is protective of the toddler she's around, you know, like, that, like, you could have this dog who's amazing with their child, but they're amazing with a child because they're protecting her or him, you know?
Because it's there.
And they see any outside intrusion as like, stranger danger.
Yeah, for real though. In what ways has Jaylee inspired you?
So many. She reminds me to stop. You know, she like, I think it's part of the child's innocence where, like, we'll be at Fred Meyer or something, and there will be a freaking stand of flowers, and she has to stop and smell it. Aww. Like, she literally stops and smells the roses, and I'm in the cart, like, I'm pushing the cart, and I'm just like, I've got my list, and I'm so set on getting in and taking care of what I need to take care of, and she's like, "Mommy, can I smell that?" Okay. You know, and just seeing this adorable little 3-year-old girl smelling a freaking carnation that, you know, are funeral flowers that have no smell, and she's like, "It smells like strawberries." I'm like, okay.
That's because it's next to the strawberries.
Exactly.
Yeah, baby.
But, you know, it's
You want your earring?
Yeah, my earrings.
Oh, okay, baby. It's on the bedside table. It's on the table next to the bed.
I don't have to.
Do you want me to get it for you?
Yeah.
Okay. Guess what? Come on, bro.
Get the earrings.
Oh, careful. You okay? Yeah. Okay, let's get that earring. So he saw a pair of my earrings today on top of the chest of drawers. And then wants me to like hook it over his ear so he can wear it.
Oh yeah, no, count any nice jewelry out. Done. I have two pairs of earrings and 2 necklaces that I keep in a small box, unreachable. Everything else is fair game. Like, it is what it is.
What are you gonna? It's like, what are you gonna do? All right, so
What are you gonna do?
we're talking about how Jaylee inspires you.
She just inspires me to stop. You know, like stop, smell, like literally smell the roses. Stop, slow down. It's okay. We don't. And it's funny because now that I think about it, it's like I remember always looking at my mom and thinking like, I'm sorry, are we on a time schedule? I didn't realize we were in a rush to do anything. But like now I'm like, holy crap, ew. Realization. But yeah, she just inspires me to just experience what's happening around her.
Yeah.
She looks at things, thinks about things, and she absorbs it. And you know, with social media, that's why I did the social media break, is that you're seeing so many things, you're absorbing so many things, but you're not processing anything, you know, like put yourself in the mind of a toddler. You're seeing 1,052 things. If you have no time to process what you're seeing, how much are you really going to learn? You know? So she's definitely inspired me to kind of slow down a little bit and understand what's being put in front of me.
That's awesome. I love that. I love that so much, actually. When it comes to, let's talk about your new career, because you're transitioning into HR,
which is really funny coming from the restaurant world.
but also like what prompted the switch and how do you feel about this career path change? Like excited, nervous?
I've had to actively remind myself and get myself excited about it. Because it's an entry-level position that I'm going in, you know?
Yeah.
I'm leaving my industry. I'm leaving what I know. I'm leaving what I'm good at.
Hey, baby. Come here. Can you sit with me for a minute?
Mommy, what's the other earring?
I don't know where the other earring is.
Mommy's gonna.
Okay, Daddy just got home, I think.
Ooh.
Daddy, I have an earring.
Win.
So
I like how you have yet to raise your voice at him. That's fantastic.
It's not his fault. That's what I think about a lot, is whatever I'm feeling is not his fault. And I definitely have raised my voice at him, and he gets, Mommy, I'm so sad. You yelled at me. And most of the time you think about it, I'm not mad at him. I'm mad at something else. And he happens to be in the way or in the path.
That's huge.
On him. And that's not his fault.
That is, yeah.
You know, we are all human beings and we all fail, and that's okay.
Mm-hmm.
I always apologize to him too. If I fucked up, if I yelled at him, I will take him and I will say, Declan, I'm really sorry. Mommy misdirected her anger at you. Because he needs to know it's okay to be wrong. And he also needs to know that it's okay to apologize. Like, it's 100%. That is that's a strength to be able to apologize and admit that you're wrong. So,
that's huge. That is, you know, coming from my background, like coming from being raised so traditionally Filipino, like fear is kind of like an accepted form of respect, you know, and trying to incorporate what you know versus what you know better, you know.
I love that. Yeah.
It's huge. That's great. Good kudos to you for,
thank you.
You know, like being able to do that.
Irish Catholic Italian family background, and my great grandma Nanny, may she rest in peace, nobody fucked with Nanny. 4'10", petite thing, and she would take a 6'6" man down by the ear and put him on the ground because you do not fuck with Nanny. You just didn't do it. And as much as some of those discipline means like to learn for all intents and purposes. Like if you simplify the definition, it's like a redirection of learning, right? Discipline does not mean to beat or to intimidate. It means to redirect, essentially. And to educate.
Redirect. Yeah.
And if I treated my son the way I was treated as a child, I would beat him every time he interrupted me. And that is not what I want for him. You know, I do not want him to be scared. I don't want him to feel insecure. I don't want him to feel less valuable or worthy. And I think that's an interesting thing because a lot of people who have ever met me would never suspect that that was my existence for a very long time. And it was like, but that's not fair for me to burden him with the burden of my past or my family's past, you know, like you're talking about fear in the Filipino community. I think it was the era, like, again, very Irish, very Catholic, very Italian background, both my parents. And that's what they did. They just, you beat conformity into your child.
And it,
you can't do that.
It goes, I think you hit the nail on the head when you said it was in the era, right? Because at the end of the day, let's be real, it was accepted back then. You know, the way that we were, you could say it with all the positive things too. Like we can't put a kid in the bed of the truck anymore, and you know, like be okay with that. You can't let a kid right in the front seat or sit on your lap and pretend to drive, and without, you know, someone taking a picture and putting it on social media. You can't, like, there are lots of things that you can't do back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
The same as disciplining too, though, you know, like we can't do that anymore. And it's interesting being at the generation that you and I are in, and that, like, trying to learn from where we were at to where we want to be.
Yes.
You know, I'm so careful to say not to where we should be, because fuck the shoulds. But like,
do it.
Yeah,
just do it.
Like where we want to be. What kind of human do we want to be for our kids?
Well, and to the people around us. Like, we've talked about this in a little bit in the call, but like, what world do I want for my son? But also, what world do I want for myself? So a lot of things, like, sure, you can go on social media, you can repost, you can hashtag, but me saying I want to support moms and open up a dialogue or have a conversation about different ways of being a mom and what that looks like in different perspectives.
And be open about it.
Be open about it.
Be open to hearing.
Yes, and just be like, it's just different. It doesn't mean it's right or wrong, but if the collective energy is to, I just hit my desk. The collective energy is to create a world and human beings that are better than us and know that as a fact, well, then we're all in the right space. Like, we're doing, and that's what I want to do. I want my son to be a better human than me. I'm sure you want Jaylee to be a better human than you. We want them to coexist peacefully. We want them to appreciate the differences and agree to disagree and know that that's okay. And support each other as a human entity. And go ahead.
No, please.
Oh, I was going to say, and if I can start that conversation by supporting other mothers who do things differently than I would do, but appreciate their contribution to the world, i.e. them and their child, then I think that is putting us on the right path.
Not only you as an individual opening this dialogue, but at the same time, something as simple as not admitting, but like apologizing to your son, and me apologizing to Jaylee when I raised, like, I'm sorry, I shouldn't have yelled at you for this. Is this what you were feeling? You know?
Feelings.
Over my dead body, would my mom have ever asked, like, are you feeling sad? Fuck the feelings, you know, like, pull up your boots and go to work, girl. Like, that's and I respect her and love her and appreciate for that. But like I don't want like what you were saying earlier. I don't want to have to subject Jaylee to that, like just because I did.
No,
It's
it's not okay. So let's get back to your job and your change. I'm so sorry because I keep getting us distracted, and then like we get interrupted, and it's a good interruption because he is a sweet, sweet boy. But I'm taking all your. You got a $8 steak and a Bloody Mary to go get, and I'm holding you up for
got my $8 steak at the bar that's open till 9 p.m.
You've got a couple minutes, but anyway, the sooner the better, right? It's your day off from everything. So.
Oh my god, it's like really my day off. Like I don't
love it. I love it. I'm a little jealous, but anyway, back to your job.
Listen, your hubby needs to help you. Back to my job. Okay, so I'll be working from home. I'm going to HR. I'm leaving the industry. It's terrifying. I'm getting paid entry-level pay. But at the same time, like realistically, given the pandemic and what happened to our industry, like I'm not going to be a maitre d' anytime soon. Fine dining was already on the verge of a reconstruct. There were fine dining was already not becoming a thing anymore. Let alone COVID. What are you gonna do? Have a 12 course tasting menu on a patio, put in a makeshift patio in a parking lot?
Sexy.
And what are you gonna charge for that? Yeah, right. What do you like? $700, $800 a person
just to make it? Yeah.
Please, who the hell is gonna want to pay that kind of money to eat in a parking lot?
Yeah.
Anyway, like that was my dream. I wanted to be a maitre d'. Like I'm a people person, and I've realized, and my most recent owner, the owner of the restaurant where I worked at recently, made me realize this. But like, I've always said I'm a people person, and I always correlated that to like customers and guests, taking care of guests, welcoming them into my home. But I realized that also translates into my team. Put together a number of teams for various levels of restaurants.
Yes.
A burger place, Michelin rated chef, an independently owned restaurant. Like I have met, and I like living in Florida to South Carolina to California, like there have been so many different personalities and perspectives and individuals that I've met. Like I realize I have a knack for relating to people regardless of where they're from. So why not take that knack instead of just sucking dick for a living, like do something constructive with it. Put a team together that you feel proud of. And also at the same time, like with the restaurant, like I don't know about you, but like for me, I always felt some sort of pride as far as like how happy a guest was seeing them eat and seeing the reviews and hearing all the amazing feedback about how great your team was and how great the restaurant experience was. But what about like your team and how good they felt while they were at work? Like we contributed to that too. You know what I mean?
Awesome.
And so what can I do with that? What can I do with that to make it work realistically for a single mom?
I think this is a brilliant. Hi, puppy dog. Everybody's coming to see me today. Boy, here, come say hi. Come up here. Come here. No, you're not gonna. You're weird. Okay. Ever comes upstairs to see me, like the animals don't, and apparently, like today's the day. I think it's a brilliant career switch to go to HR because you have all of that experience, and I think personally, I know we didn't work together, but just the conversations we have had and how dynamic you are, I think this might be the niche you didn't know you were good at. And I gotta tell you, my husband works for a Fortune 500 company, and their HR team is awful, and they need more empathy. Like, there's old school ways of doing HR, and it's pathetic at a lot of places. And I think that this is a great move for you in like more ways than one, but the hospitality industry is so turbulent right now, I guess is the good word for it. And you just,
Yes.
what are you going to do? You know, like what?
And
You can't be, it would be really hard to be responsible and try to maintain that career path because you don't know
right. Exactly.
what could happen. And you need consistency. Your daughter needs that consistency. And
my daughter needs consistency. I need consistency because realistically speaking, like when it boils down to it, as moms, we're not going to be decent moms, let alone decent humans, without some semblance of pride for both aspects of your life, professional and personal, you know? Like, I had an interview with a company that offered me $85K a year. But also their minimum was 11-hour days and quote unquote perfection. I was like, yeah, no. Nah, I'm good. Like, offer it to me 4 years ago, I would have jumped at the chance, but I have other priorities. And again, like boiling down to being humble and knowing that, you know, could we murder that $85,000 a year manager job? It wasn't even a GM gig. It was a freaking manager job. Could we have done it? Hell yeah, we could have. But like, I don't want to anymore.
No.
You know, not to mention, like, with the way that the industry is going, the industry is on a cusp of change at this point. You know, I grew up in my professional career has always been in the restaurant industry, and it's been volatile and crass, and quite frankly, like for a woman, like it's just not a healthy place to be. You know, we are, you know, there are the memes and the jokes about cooks and hostesses being walking HR disasters. And, you know, like they're there for a reason. Like it is
true. So true.
It's true.
It's so true.
And like going into HR, I'm able to, I don't know, like obviously I'm coming from an entry level, so I won't be there yet, but like when it comes to working with people, I will be able to get to apply my personal experience of like, oh, I'm sorry, that person grazed your butt when he was walking by. No, honey, it wasn't an accident. It wasn't an accident. It's okay if you feel weird about it. And don't like it's okay. It's okay if you like you're not sure if he meant it. Baby, he did. He did.
And I'm only laughing because it's so rampant and it's so true. It's not funny. Like, don't take my laughter as anything other than like it's so uncomfortable as a woman in so many different aspects, but in
no, and you laugh because you know because you can commiserate with it.
Yeah, it's so relatable.
You know and you relate.
You just laugh. You laugh it off literally, and so you laugh so you don't cry or create controversy.
Because in our industry, in the restaurant industry, if you don't smile and laugh it off, or what historically has been, if you don't smile and laugh it off, you're the one causing waves and causing troubles, and then you don't get the shifts that you want, and then all of a sudden you're closing 5 days a week, and then all of a sudden it's like, you know, and then the same idea, like never mind the sex part, right? Never mind male or female. What about calling in sick? The whole mentality of the restaurant industry with like you don't call in sick unless you're dead and dying. Like that's not okay for me as a mom anymore. Like thank God the owners that I recently worked for, one of them, he's got a daughter a couple years older than Jaylee, And I'll never forget the day that I realized that I work for a different set of people, was that when I was driving Jaylee to the sitter, she threw up on
Oh
herself.
no, sweet girl.
And like she seemed like fairly fine. If I remember that day right, she seemed pretty okay and pretty normal. She wasn't lethargic. She didn't seem sick, but just like we were driving and then all of a sudden she just like threw up on herself. And I was about 3 minutes away from the sitter's house. I was about 35, 40 minutes away from my shift. And the restaurant was maybe 20 minutes away from the sitter's house. So overall, like, I had to be in at 11:30. It had to have been like 10:15ish around there, right? I text my owners and I say, hey, Jaylee just threw up in the back seat or in her car seat. Gonna get her settled. We'll be late. And then all I get is an okay. Let us know how she's doing. So I get her to the sitters. We get her stripped, get her into the tub, and she is just like, blah, just not feeling well. And I'm like, hey, Jaylee not looking so well, really clingy. I don't feel right going into work, gonna take a day. And in my head, like, I'd only been with this company for 2, 3 months, and I'm like, crap, oh my God, I'm that girl with baggage. Oh my gosh, I am that mom pain in the ass that, oh, my daughter, my daughter, my daughter. And literally, like, what they texted me back was, hey, I hope she's all right. Keep us updated. Let us know if you need anything. See you tomorrow. Like, I was like,
What?
what?
Someone drunk her?
Okay. You're not, no cold shoulder, no passive anger, no, but like I went into work the next day and they're like, hey, how's Jaylee feeling? I was like, oh, she had a little fever. She's blah, 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 blah. But like literally the first words out of their mouth was like, how's Jaylee feeling? Wow.
That's refreshing.
And the fact that that's refreshing and shocking to us is sad.
Yeah.
That's sad.
It is hard. It is hard to be, I think, a parent in hospitality. It's really hard because you just got to get the job done. And that's the job you can't do that remotely. It has to be there. And it's all about engagement and the relationships, and people come in for certain people, and if they want to know that you're there, they want to know Jeremy's there because Jeremy always looks after them and Jeremy's doing this, and you're just like, hey, my baby puked on herself, that I can't leave her somewhere, I get that.
Guests don't care about that, and not to any fault of their own, but like, they're going somewhere to go get taken care of, which is fair, and so, like, the fact that that's what owners expect, I understand it. But at the same time, like, as a parent, as a mom, like, I have to be okay with coming to terms with the fact that, like, that part of my life needs to be pivoted. I need to pivot.
I love that. I think it's great. I think it all goes back to what you say, being aware and humble. Like, you got to know what you need in order. And I tell this to my husband all the time because he's in sales for a tech company and he's grinding. And I'm just like, the money, great. I love that we can, we have a house and we have the car and we can send our kid to a school. Is it going to kill you? Because if it's going to put you in the grave, like, anyway, the money doesn't matter. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you need to have a quality of life. He's a plate. My husband's British. I don't think you've ever met him, but so he's a big cricketer back in the UK, and then he moves here and he hasn't done anything for like except work and be a dad and a husband. So I'm like, you need to have balance. Like, you need to have time because it's great that we can afford stuff. That's awesome. But still, like, it's not the end all be all. Like, you need to have your mental stability. You need to have an outlet. You need to. I tell them all the time, like, sure, I do this podcast and sure, I write and all this stuff, but I don't have a business plan. And I don't have a marketing strategy, and I don't follow through with certain things because I make time for my mental health and well-being. Because you need to. Like, you need to know what's right for you.
You need to. You need it. And it's a terrifying idea to carve out that time and to carve out that mental space for yourself. You know, there are a lot of hangups for a bunch of different individuals for many different reasons, you
Uh-huh.
know. For me personally, it's like, am I being selfish?
Mm.
You know, well, what is my true agenda for this? You know, and it's but like it's a terrifying, terrifying, terrifying feeling to start over from what you know and what you're good at and what you know you're good at
Yes.
to to starting like literally going into an entry level position. Like, and it's funny because everybody who interviewed me was like, "You understand this is an entry level position?" And I said, "You understand I don't plan on being here for a long time." Like, let's just make that clear. Like I understand that it's an entry level position. Do you understand that I'm not planning on being here for more than a year, maybe two,
In this
in
role.
in this role? Exactly, in this specific role. Like, you got to start somewhere, and it's that age old thing. It's like you don't have anything on your resume, and no one will hire you because you have nothing on your resume. But you can't get anything on your resume because you have nothing. You know, you have nothing to put on your resume. But it's having that confidence to put yourself out there, and also the humility and being, again, humility to just take no. Like, it's okay to be told no.
Yeah, I love that you're like, yeah, that's great. I get it, it's entry level, but you guys are crazy if you think I'm going to be in this role for more than a year or two because you don't know how good I am. I love that. That is amazing.
Like, let's at our age and our generation, we know well enough. We know so much. And I think I'm emotionally intelligent enough to know I've come to know my worth. I've come to
Mm.
know what I can contribute. And a lot of that has to do with, you know, like setting the example for Jaylee.
Yeah. Wow.
You know, I don't self-deprecate anymore. Like, I caught myself saying out loud when I was trying on shorts because it's starting to get hot here. I was trying on shorts in front of Jaylee, and she was like, "Are you almost done?" I was like, "No, I'm still trying on shorts because mommy's fat." And then I literally said "mommy's fat" out loud, and she was like, "What did you say?" And I was like, "The shorts don't fit me anymore. That's it." And I was like, "I can't say that anymore." You know, like
Mm.
you can't say that stuff in front of your kid. It's not fair.
Mm.
That's not fair. They it's not that they shouldn't see you in that light, but it's that, like, again, rounding back to like, what kind of a human do we want to be?
Mm.
I don't want to be a self-deprecating human
Uh-uh.
anymore. Not for her, not for me.
Uh-uh. It's almost like your kids like motivate you in a different way. Like, you know, even know it's possible. Like, you think about things in such different parameter. And you
Mm-hmm,
explain
mm-hmm.
it because she's going to emulate that and think, who cares if you're a size 10 versus a size 2? Like, she thinks you're beautiful because you're her world, you're her mom. And we put so much emphasis, you just got to be healthy, whatever healthy looks like to you. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not saying like it's McDonald's every day, let's be real here, or you know, processed foods or whatever. Like, we have data, we know that whole foods are better, all that crap. But whatever healthy in your body looks like to you, I mean, we don't need to have 6-pack abs. Like, it's a lot to maintain.
I have other priorities. I have priorities.
And you want to be present for your kid. All right, a couple more questions because you got to go. What unsolicited information do you have for our listeners?
Oh, I love this. I read this when you. Okay, probably because it was so recent and the way that it was delivered was just so like um was uh the fact I still sleep with Jaylee.
Oh.
Jaylee still sleeps in my bed. I have not had a partner in almost 2 years. I have um slept alone, and excuse me, but she still sleeps in my bed, and I find comfort in it. Ish, you know how psycho toddlers are. Like, they're insane the way they sleep. But like I like having her there, and it's funny because the days like on Saturday nights or on early Sunday mornings at like 2, 3, 4 in the morning, I'll wake up and I'll look over and like go to look for her, but she's at her dad's. But like I had someone say you should really, a non-parent, someone she said you should really read some things about independence and the child sleeping, and or you should really read something about independence and co-sleeping or something like that. And so like, I think thank you. Yeah, it's one of those things where like I just nodded my head and smiled, and I just kind of brushed off, and I actually brought it up to her again a couple days later, and I just told her, I was like, hey, just so I appreciate your concern, but like it's kind of not cool what you said. Like that's you're not in a place to express your you should really read about independence and co-sleeping. Like you're not a parent. You don't know how it feels to be a single mom. You don't know where I am personally. Like, thank you, but
next.
thanks.
Thank you, next.
Yeah. Thank you, next.
So don't tell people what they know, or like, yeah, like don't tell someone else if you don't know what they're
going
yeah.
through. Like we're all on such individual journeys, and just because you have a sister or a friend or an aunt or someone that you know who did this and it worked well for them, every journey is so different.
And every child is so different. Declan, we make a great effort to keep him in his bed at night. 100% we do. Because we do think that self-soothing is important, but also as a parent and selfishly, like there's going to be a time when he's not going to want to sleep with mommy and daddy, and he's going to be too big, and he's going to be capable. And I kind of like the idea of indulging in those little bug snuggles and like waking up and seeing him and being able to like kiss his little forehead while he's sleeping and then just snuggle back down next to him. And it's nice. I never had that as a kid. Like we weren't allowed in my parents' bedroom. So unless we were like dying. So for him to know that, right? I think it's good for kids to know, yes, okay, let's do sleeping and that. Okay, all that stuff is important. I'm not going to argue that, but equally, there are cultures that co-sleep for years.
3 years,
and it's
3 years.
It's okay, and it's okay.
And I, like personally, I feel good enough about what I let her be independent in, outside of our sleeping habits.
Yeah.
The girl that like I let her ride out her independence in other ways. And if with me is gonna fuck that up, then we have bigger fish to fry.
Like let her ride out her independence. I love that. I think the girl
let her ride her independence.
I think giving that girl that liberty and freedom, like in general, like as females, is so important. Oh, so I love that.
You gotta let her.
Let her do it.
Let her ride. Let her freak flag fly. Let it go.
Like my son, his dress wearing. I can't change who he is. I can't alter who he's meant to be.
No.
I just gotta
let her
support him. That's what you have to do. That's your job as parent. And you're given the child that you're meant to have. I firmly believe that. I'm not a religious person. I'm not, but I have a lot of faith, and I've read a lot about enough religious study to know that I have a lot of faith, and I'm very, I don't know how to say it, but I know I have the son I was meant to have, and whoever he turns out to be, I need to encourage him. I just need to support him, and that's my job. Like, that's my job. I was giving this human for a reason, so.
If there's one thing I learned from our previous generation or previous generations before us, is that support is key. let the freak flag fly. Be the person standing behind and cheer them the fuck on. And if they change their mind, all right, cool, let's do it. Are you hurting anyone? Are you hurting yourself? Are you like be a good human, do what makes you happy. I will love you no matter what, within reason.
Yeah. Just try not to kill anybody. Maybe don't.
Try not to murder anyone. Try not to kill yourself. Try not to be an asshole.
Yeah, like those. Yeah, there's a couple
And
things.
be productive.
That.
Yeah, be productive. That's it. Somewhere in between. And not to mention that, like, her dad and her dad's girlfriend has her sleep alone when she's at their place. And if they're able to, go around the fact that she sleeps with mommy when she's at mommy's house, and then she sleeps in her room when she's at daddy's house, like, kids are so smart. For as dumb as they are, they're smart as hell. They can figure it out. They can figure it out. They're okay.
Oh, they're too smart. They're too smart. They're too smart. Is there anything you wish you would have been told about motherhood?
I wish I would have been told about motherhood. I wish I had been told earlier on that my feelings would get hurt a lot.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
Not by anyone else, but your fucking kid. Kids are so mean. Kids are so mean.
You're so honest, and I think we're so used to like sugar, especially hospitality people. Like we're used to like presenting things in positive manners or doing it like a sort of like sales spin, if you will. Like kids are just blunt.
And it's funny because it's like you hear the terms, kids are so honest, kids are so honest. So like when your 3-year-old says, I want daddy, you're like,
I'm not good enough.
like, okay. And then I learned this was recent. This was a recent revelation within this past week, but like, again, redirecting. Okay, you want daddy. You want daddy's house. You want daddy's house because you miss the dogs. So you don't want daddy. You want the dogs that live at daddy's house. Yes. Okay. All right. Fair. And it's like, and it's being able to like drop that like no, she doesn't hate you. She misses the dogs. Like it has nothing to do with you. It has and everything to do with them. So I really wish someone had told me, like, listen, toughen that skin up now because you're gonna get your feelings hurt a lot.
That's really funny though. She doesn't care about daddy, or she doesn't even care about the girlfriend. She wants to go see the dogs.
She wants the dogs.
I love it.
She wants the dog at daddy's house. Okay. It's okay.
That's gonna make you feel a little
okay.
good though.
Yeah, a little. Oh, God, I'm not a terrible mom. It's that inner dialogue. Like you're not a terrible mom. You're not a terrible parent. Your kid just wants what it wants,
right?
When it wants it.
Is there anything else you'd like to share with us?
Anything else?
Oh no, you gave some really good gems. I don't know.
God, so many. Let it fly. Let it fly for yourself. Let it fly for your kid. Let it fly. Just fucking enjoy it. Enjoy the ride.
That's a really good. I am totally notorious for like being a little too uptight. I do not. I'm more relaxed than my husband in a lot of ways. Like he's helicopter dad. But man, some days I'm like, you're just like, take the stick out of your ass. Like, what's your problem? What's your problem, Brie? Stop. That's really good. Just note in general.
No, it's a good balance, you know? Like there needs to be, because I need mom friends like you. Like my idea is like knowing that okay, I see the child, no one's taken her and she's alive, she's fine. But little do I know, like, God knows what she's eating or putting in her mouth, but I'm not like, oh yeah, she's fine. She's fine. It's okay, she's eating worse. But at the same time, like it is nice to have people around you who are like, Jaylee, what's in your mouth? And I'm like, oh, she's fine. She's fine.
Shiva.
Yeah, and then, yeah. So it's a balance. Be all right. Be okay with what you're comfortable with. That's all right. You're gonna be all right. Is your kid alive? You're fine. You're
Half the
fine.
battle, right? Keeping them alive. Oh my God, it's such a stressor.
Keep it alive.
All right. We've taken up way more of your time than I anticipated, so I'm sorry about that. But
No, this is so
oh,
much
I love
fun.
talking about
This is so much.
It's so
I don't
good.
laugh.
Me too. I'm the mom who knows nada. My name is Brianna. You can find this interview coming soon at mamaknowsnada.com. And until then, have fun learning all the things you didn't know you needed to know. Thank you to Jeremy for sharing her Jaylee stories with us. Epic. And all those nuggets of information. We appreciate your perspective.